This is one of them, and the other being at the start of the climb up the Midland Highway.
And how horrible is that one?
Well, David McKenzie is in the thick of the action. David McKenzie, over to you.
So I'm in the box seat here. We're behind the leaders of the bike race currently. In normal other national championship titles, they'd make a left turn down this road here. This year, for the very first time, they go straight ahead. They cross over the top, over the crest of this rise, drop down, and they'll be hitting in excess of 80 kilometres per hour.
Yes, they will indeed, David, as we head down towards what is now a right turn into Federation Drive. The gap is actually going up. This is amazing. I'm not convinced this peloton is in control of things at all because they're so concerned with each other. There's still room for a big surprise.
And there's still 36 riders in that group.
That's Cam Meyer down there too, who's just looking back at the cars.
First chance we've had to actually see Cameron Meyer.
Yep.
Been looking for an excuse to talk about him for a while, but we need to see him to be able to talk about him. He can win today.
Absolutely, he can.
Well, he's won the criterium. He's never won the road race. He's won the time trial.
He's been second in the road race, and his brother Travis will be watching on. He has won the road race.
That was a great victory by Trav Meyer.
Wasn't it?
And Trav no longer racing at the levels, but very much involved in the sport. Well, he's gone back into the pack, so it was a little hiccup for Cam Meyer.
And also still in contact at the back of the group is Rhys Gillett, one of the locals in the all-black colours.
Yeah, Rhys lives here in Bunningham, and he never ever ceases but surprise me. He's such a good bike rider who's never really come through.
Very strong climber, incredibly good power to weight ratio, and so that's really been his gift, and he's raced very well domestically in Australia.
He has.
And the three chasers, Harper, Edmondson and Clark. Clark surely can't have all that much left in the tank, and he's not doing much of the pacemaking. He really is playing the role of flying the flag for the Education First Drapac team.
Also, for a rider who's been in a break, he's got a really beautiful high cadence. You know, he's not trying to generate too much force every time he climbs the way we saw with, say, Milostic or some of the other riders that are working a bit harder. So he's a lot of souplesse, as they say in French, you know, that he's got this beautiful ability to maintain a good cadence.
Well, the peloton now, they're being led by the Mitchelton Scott team. It's Troy Herfoss who is off the front, still holding on to a 49-second lead on the peloton.
I am bankrupted completely.
Dad? I didn't do it, Maya. I didn't do it.
This is my firm.
It was your firm. I want you to join our firm.
Real African-American law firm.
Yes!
We'll see you in court.
You're all fighters, each and every one of you.
I've spent too long as a little girl.
The Good Fight starts Thursday, 10:20 on SBS Viceland and on demand.
eHarmony for me was more meaningful in terms of actually meeting someone who was serious about long-term relationship.
If it wasn't for eHarmony, I'm quite convinced that we would never have crossed paths. Because of eHarmony, we did.
Visit eHarmony to find your spark.
Engineered to read and adapt to your body like no other chair. For comfort that can't really be explained, but simply must be experienced. And right now, you can enjoy the luxury of leather at a fabric price. Stressless designer comfort made in Norway.
Grazie.
Prego.
Everybody from my village was gone to Australia. I arrived in 1962.
Gently raise your foot.
I just had hip surgery.
Everybody in multicultural care treat me as a person.
We come from the same background as our clients, so we understand their beliefs, their values.
Multicultural care is your partner in care, your family's partner in care.
Lose yourself in the world's best entertainment. Get the new Google Pixel 2 XL with a 12-month Foxtel Now starter pack plus 20 gigs of data, now from only $99 a month, exclusive to Telstra.
Be whatever you want to be. Be fulfilled. Be in demand.
Be clinically trained in aged care at Australia's most reputable education provider. Aged care courses are now enrolling at TAFE. Be ambitious.
That was clever, Frank.
At least Frank knows a clever way to water. The super reliable Pope Rainstorm Sprinkler.
Getting to Mars will be dangerous, but it'll be the greatest adventure ever in human history.
Mars is where the science is. Mars is where the future is.
Funny thing about Mars, it is more hostile to life than any place on Earth.
Mars starts Saturday 7:30 on SBS and on demand.
The capture of Troy Herfoss. He's been out in front on his own for so long, and now he's finally been reeled back in. It's Alex Edmondson at the front from the Mitchelton Scott team, Chris Harper from Bennelong Swiss Wellness, and yet again at the front, Will Clark. He was in the break. He got caught by the peloton, and he says farewell once again. So 4 riders out in front, and they'll come through this time, and they'll get 2 laps to go. 1 minute and 12 seconds their advantage over the peloton, which is now really starting to get reduced. Impressive riding by the Education First Strap Pack team. Starting with 4, they've still got 4 in contention, 1 in the break, 3 in the peloton. Harper sliding off the front, Edmondson responding, and Clark sticking with them, not working, probably frustrating them. And Herfoss, well, he has no responsibility to do any of the pacemaking now.
We have seen during the course of the race, so that Edmondson hasn't been looking comfortable. This is not necessarily a course or a duration of race that suits him perfectly. He's absolutely doing his job, but I wouldn't necessarily back him, to take a victory over these 3 riders with 20k to go.
If he's to stick with them over the climb, though, good luck beating him in the sprint. He is the only Australian to have won the under-23 Tour of Flanders, the biggest one-day sporting event on the calendar in Belgium. And at last year's edition of the race, on his debut, he beat Peter Sagan in the sprint. It was for 24th position, but he still beat Peter Sagan. But that's a 260-kilometre race. The distance will be okay for Alex.
Clearly Harper there from Bennelong Swiss Wellness is frustrated that he wants the pace to stay on. He wants there to be a little bit of success, particularly for these 4 to stay away from the group for at least 1 more climb. And he can sense that, Clark and Herfoss have really no desire to work any harder than they need to. And now Mitchelton Scott, as we see the 2 Western Australians, Cameron Meyer all smiles, laughing at 2 laps to go, chatting with Luke Durbridge. They've got this under control. They believe in Alex Edmondson out in the break amongst those 4. And then looking very good, Caleb Ewan at this point. 2 laps remaining. Lucas Hamilton it is who's leading.